Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. So today I've been thinking about what foundations to use. I did go out this morning, by the way, and I've got a bit of unisex healthy glow on and my Studio 10 glow collection. Reason being is, yes, last night I still only had 2 hours sleep. I'm kind of, I don't know, I seem to be coming through the other side of it now and got this weird kind of energy that's probably not energy at all. Anyway, enough of me and my insomnia. So, but because I haven't been sleeping very well, I do want to use another full coverage foundation. Now, I would have done some sort of more medium coverage because we're in the summer, but people didn't seem to mind. No one's particularly asked for that. So I will try and do a sort of more summery foundation next week. Now today I'm actually going to use 2 foundations. And they're sort of 2. So don't worry, because let me just come off here because I cannot hear myself think. Okay, so when I say that I'm going to do 2 foundations, it's not really 2. So today I'm going to be using Kat Von D Lock-It foundation, but it's quite light for me at the moment. So instead of mixing it with another foundation, I am going to use the Cover FX adjuster drops, which I will tell you all about in a minute. But first of all, I need to get all this off and get on with it because my dad's arriving in about an hour's time. And I don't want to be doing the video when my dad's here because that would just be rude. So I will get this off and I'll be right back. Okay, so let's get this show on the road. And I'm sorry that we're competing with Fortnite yet again. But at least he's doing something while I'm doing my videos. So that's the idea. Anyway, so Kat Von D Lock-It foundation. Here is the Kat Von D. It looks a bit messy. It gets a bit messy around here as I use it. So, yeah, it's not brilliant. But anyway, so this is Kat Von D Lock-It foundation. Now, this is very high coverage foundation again, which is what I want today. So let me read you a little bit about what it says on the website. It says, creamy and pigmented, Lock-It foundation is the only 24-hour wear liquid formula we can count on to create a perfect canvas on any skin type. With 30 shades and undertones, everyone can rock a flawless complexion without ever touching up. And it's vegan and cruelty free. Okay, but this is why I'm going to need to do some adjustments today. So let me just show you. I got this in the winter time and it was still a little bit light, but I could get away with it. But at the moment it's looking quite light, and because it's quite high coverage, when they're high coverage you really do need quite a good match. So I thought what I would do is show you these as well, which are the Cover FX custom cover drops. Now what these are drops of pure pigment. I'll read you a little bit about them at the moment, that you can drop into your face cream, moisturizer, serum, anything to make a foundation. And basically the number of drops will give you the coverage you want. So like if you want a light coverage, then you use 1 drop. If you want a light to medium, you use 2. If you want medium coverage, you use 3. If you want really super coverage, then you use 4 drops. And what it says about these on the website is, create your ideal foundation or tinted moisturizer by mixing these revolutionary drops of pure pigment with your favorite liquid beauty products. Okay, now this I know is a really good match to my skin. I think it is, because I did match it quite recently. So if I mix a drop of that into the foundation, it should adjust it, which you can do. The only I'll tell you as I'm going on with this. So let me just mix. I'm going to put some on with a beauty blender today, and I'm going to put some on with the brush so that you can see the difference. And what else was I going to say? I was going to say something else. And I've used, that's what I was going to say. I have used the Emma Hardie Amazing Face Protect and Primer again. So I've decided I'm going to use this for all my foundation videos so that you can see the same primer, because really it's more of an SPF moisturizer than a kind of primer. So it's going to let you see the foundation in its true light. So that's what I've used before. So I've just put, actually that's probably too much of the Kat Von D because it is very, very high coverage. Now, the thing that I don't like about these cover effects, I'm going to tell you now, I would not buy these again. I really regretted it. And the reason is they're very good. Sorry, that was me. But they're not drops. No matter how much you shake, you cannot get a drop. So you have to guess what a drop would be if it was the right consistency. Okay. And now watch it come out as a drop. So eventually I just had to kind of splurge a little bit from the tip, and it gets so messy, the top. So if they were drops, and if the pipette worked, and if it wasn't thick, and it actually came out as a drop, you see there's nothing in there at the moment, then actually I would say these were absolutely brilliant. But let's see, we can hope. I'm going to put one drop. Oh, it worked today. There you go. And a little bit, one drop and a little bit, and I'm going to mix it in with this Kat Von D. And I must have shaken it a bit harder, so I might go back on that. Even though it wasn't really a drop, it gives you the idea that this is a liquid, and you can just drop these drops into your foundation, and actually when you go to do it, it's more like a cream in a bottle, so it's very thick. Okay, so I've mixed that in now, and now it's immediately looking closer to my shade, and I can now I can get away with it. I'll just bronze. So I'm just going to get a damp beauty blender, and I'm going to dot a little bit round here, and I'm going to put this on with a damp beauty blender this side of my face, and then the other side I'm going to put it on with my big thick brush, which came with my Tarte foundation, which is really good for full coverage foundations. So we're just going to pat this on, and as you will see, it covers really well. I could have added more drops, but I want you to see the foundation as much as possible as it is, and I think I can get away with this today.
I didn't even know season 5 came out that day, was the funny thing.
It's always better to be lighter with your foundation anyway, as opposed to darker, I mean, I find, because at least that way you can just use a bit more bronzer. And also because my chest is actually fairer anyway, so I can kind of get away with it. But if you see there, it is very, very high coverage foundation indeed. Let's just do, I might not do exactly half of my nose, but
no, I didn't.
So the custom cover drops are a good idea. It's just the consistency I don't like.
I was sick on the day.
I don't know whether maybe I got old. They've been stored for a long time from where I bought them. I don't know. But a lot of people have given similar feedback. If they were drops, the idea would work wonderfully. Okay, so that's half of my face done with a damp beauty blender, and the other half I'm going to do with this brush, which you can see already. If you've got coordination or hand problems, wrist issues, this is a lot easier to blend in than going like that with a beauty blender. Although it may not give you the same sort of coverage, as you can probably see, as the beauty blender, but it will if you layer it up. But you're just going to use a little bit more product. What I'm going to do is I'll brush over that and push some of it over, so I'm not going in with too much more product. And I've still got a tiny bit left on my hand. Jack, please. Thank you.
I killed someone.
In his game. Just want to qualify that. He killed someone in his game.
I killed... This guy had an attack and I killed him with an AR.
Okay, as you can see. Now, looking at the Tarte foundation last week, I think you can probably see immediately that has covered up far more of my hyperpigmentation than the Tarte foundation. And I'm just going to take a little bit more, a tiny bit more. What I'm going to do is I'm not going to mix this. I'm just going to use it as it is, because I'm going to just dab a bit more over that hyperpigmentation, and because it can afford to be a bit lighter, I don't need to mix it. So I'm just going to take the beauty blender, because obviously that is going to mix it a little bit better. And I might even get away without concealer if I take it all the way up. In fact, I will. There we are.
Is this a troll right here?
And then this one. Now, it's high coverage, but I wouldn't say it feels thick. It doesn't feel too thick. And it doesn't look too flat. Which is why it's a very well-known foundation. I'm so sorry about this in the background. Okay, so I've just set under my eyes with some Becca under eye setting powder, and I'm now going to use the RCMA no colour setting powder. So every week when I do the foundations, I'm going to be using Emma Hardie to prime, and I'm going to be using RCMA to set, so that you can see the foundation as it is. And the cover effects, really, I just put a tiny drop in there to make the colour a bit closer to my skin tone at the moment. Okay, so this really is more about Kat Von D Lock-It foundation. So I haven't used any concealer. I have just put the foundation under my eyes. And actually, there's no need to use a concealer, because that has done the job of a concealer. So I'm now going to use my brush that I was using yesterday for the Hydra Mist. No, not the Hydra Mist. The Hourglass Ambient Lighting Palette. And I'm going to use that to brush on the no colour powder. And I'm going to put this all over again so that you can see how it sets. Okay, so that is the foundation done. I will do my makeup and come back on to show you what that looks like. And then follow me throughout the day as I see how this wears. And this promises 24-hour wear. And the one I did last week, the Tarte one, only promised 12 hours wear. But I'm not going to wear it for 24 hours. I might not sleep for 24 hours, but I'm not going to wear it for 24 hours. Okay, so I will be back in a minute, but first of all, let me do a close-up of my skin. I think that hyperpigmentation is really hidden quite well compared to other foundations. Okay, see you in a minute when I've put my makeup on. Okay, so that's me finished just in time before my dad arrives. So catch me throughout the day. I hope you like my makeup. I will put all the details of what I've put on my face today in the description bar below. And I'll see you very soon.
I'm so close.
Hi guys and welcome back. It's now been 5 hours since I put this foundation on and I think it's looking good. My eye has been watering a little bit, but it's staying put considering there's no concealer there. That's all foundation, and that pigmentation has not really popped through too much. Let me do a close-up for you. And actually, my nose isn't too oily either. Normally I find that my nose gets quite oily through with foundation. Now that may be because my skin is quite dry, having not slept. And as I said, my skin is going a bit bonkers at the moment. One day it's oily, the next day it's dry. But it doesn't feel tacky like it often does. It's, yeah, I had forgotten. I think it's because I got the wrong shade. It was still a little bit too light for me before, that I kind of, other things took over. But it's now inspired me to use this, and I definitely think it's covered this hyperpigmentation better than the Amazonian clay did last week. Tell me what you think. There's less of it popping through. There's always a little bit popping through, but it's how much pops through. And I think, and it doesn't feel heavy on the skin. It feels like my skin. And let's do, actually, let me just get a tissue because it says that it doesn't transfer. So let me see. The big test would be to stick this on my nose and see if it transfers. 1 second. Okay, let's do the transfer test.
What's going to happen to all these Mortys? They'll go back to their families.
Maybe a little bit. But actually, I tell you, with other foundations, I should have tried this last week. On my forehead, it's not done a thing. My chin often gets oily. My lipstick's come off, but no. I think that's really good, and it doesn't feel like when I touch my face, it's not coming off on my cheeks. So yeah, I think that's really good. I'm definitely preferring this one to last week's Amazonian clay now. I'll be right back later on to do an update, and I'll also talk you through the shades, because there are a lot of shades, and they're different types of shades. So I'll talk you through those later on. Okay, see you soon. Hi everyone. It's now been 8 hours since I put this foundation on, and I am very impressed. I keep having to look at myself and I'm feeling my face because it feels like there's nothing on my skin. It really does. Now, the only place I will say is the usual place here, which is around the nose where my glasses sit. Excuse my glasses, they do probably need a bit of a clean. So where my glasses sit, you will see that there is a little line, but that is inevitable. I cannot, I get that with everything, basically. And so it started to come away, and my nose is starting to look a bit oily. So, let's do the transfer test on the nose. I think there'll probably be a bit more coming off because my nose looks a bit oily. But we shall see. Actually, it's only the little bit where my glasses were sitting. So although my nose is looking a little bit shiny, it's not, the foundation isn't sliding about.
And he's got a double barrel.
I am very impressed. I think it's probably come away a bit at the sides.
Bro, there are 3 people. There are 4 people.
My chin normally gets very oily under foundation.
Oh, wow.
That's not moving about. My head is the other place. The only place is my nose, which is normal because of my glasses. And it just, as I said, it feels like I don't have any foundation on my face. So let me just take you through some of these shades, because I did promise you that I would do that. Now, I got shade 53, which I'm not sure what came over me, because it was too light anyway. Okay? And I'll tell you something in a minute about my shade, but let me just run through the shades. So you have got a total of 30 different foundation shades, and there are 10 light shades. So they're divided into light, medium and deep tones, okay? And there's a numbered system, you'll be pleased to know. Right, it's not just light, medium and deep, they're numbers. So you have 10 light shades, you have 14 medium shades and 6 deep shades. And then they're split up into neutral, warm and cool shades, okay? And therefore, sorry, I was just asking my son to keep it down a little bit. So the neutral, warm and cool shades. Now, if you don't know whether you're neutral, warm or cool, there's a couple of ways that you can work it out. One of the things is to look at the wrists in your, the veins on your wrist. If the veins look green, then you are warm undertone. If they look blue, then you're a cool undertone. And if you can't really tell, which I can't, then you're neutral undertone, but you might be neutral something else. I describe my skin tone as neutral warm because I can't tell the colour of my veins, and I have got an olive complexion. There's sort of slight greeny, yellowy tinge to my tone. So the other way is to look at jewellery. If you suit silver jewellery, then you're a cool undertone. If you suit gold jewellery, then you're a warm undertone. And if you suit both silver and gold jewellery, if both look good on your skin, then you're neutral. So that's the other way. Now, there are, as I said, there's 10 light shades. And of that, there's 6 neutral, 2 warm and 2 cool. Then there's 14 medium shades, 7 neutral, 6 warm and 1 cool shade. And then there's 6 deep shades, of which 1 is neutral, 3 are warm and 2 are cool. And so obviously I am medium warm. So immediately I have narrowed it down to 6 foundation shades. Obviously I just said that I am neutral warm, and now I've just said I'm warm. When you're neutral warm, you can go for neutral or warm shades. but I tend to go for warm because otherwise I look a bit washed out. I will explain a lot more about picking colours in a separate video next week. And then it's just the numbers, so in terms of what it is. Now I went on to Temptalia foundation matrix. I'm going to leave you details below in the description bar, but if you have a foundation that matches your skin really well, as I do, I always go by NC35 in MAC because that matches my skin really well. You can go in, put that foundation in, and then search by brand, and it will come up with the closest foundation to that shade. And it was very, very interesting because I went in to check this afternoon, and it came up with two numbers for medium warm foundations, and one was 57 and the other one was 62. And so I did a little scientific test as my dad was over, and I showed him all the medium warm shades, the 6 medium warm shades. Oh dear, I'm not explaining myself very well. On the website, for every shade there is a picture of a woman, so I showed him the 6 women and asked him which woman had the closest skin tone to me, and he picked, without knowing, 57 and 62. So Temptalia is a really, really good match, and I think 57 and 62 both match my skin tone. 62 in the summer and 57 in the winter. So why on earth I bought 53, I shall never know. But there you go. So that hopefully will help you in terms of choosing your foundation, and also you can ask people to do that, and if you go on their website, it actually shows you the faces of people with the different foundation shades, so you can ask a friend, which one do you think I'm closest to, and then cross match it with what Temptalia says. It's a good bit of fun anyway, and it was so accurate. Those were the 2 out of 6 that my dad picked. So yeah, I was really, really excited by that. So overall, I give this foundation an absolute thumbs up, and I'm giving Cover FX a second chance. I think I probably got a batch that had been sitting around, and I think you just need to shake it a lot. I think it's really good. If you also, they're quite expensive. Another really good alternative I'm going to show you, if you need to lighten or darken your foundation, I have another cheaper alternative, but it's just as good actually. 1 second. Okay, I got these because I'm often asked to make other people up, and not many people are my skin tone, even my sister. And also it's very helpful in the summer and the winter months. So these are from the Body Shop, and they're called darkening drops and lightening drops, and you add them to your foundation to make them darker or lighter. They've recently brought out another one which is called Drops of Sun, and what Drops of Sun is it's supposed to be like a bronzer, but it's the same sort of formula as this, which is basically a liquid. Same thing. Now this is what I expected of Cover FX, which is proper drops. They actually drop, and it's the same formula. But if you look at the darkening drops here, the darkening drops are quite cool toned, or neutral to cool. I can never tell with the darker ones whether they're cool or neutral. It's difficult for me to see. I would say probably neutral to cool, but neutral cool. Sorry. But the Drops of Sun are warm, so they're more like your bronzer. So depending on how warm you need, if you need to darken and warm up your foundation, then I would get the Drops of Sun. If you just need to darken it but you don't want it to look too orange, maybe you're quite fair and you're a bit worried that it's going to look too orange, then I would go for these darkening drops. And then of course you've got the lightening drops if you bought a dark foundation in the summer and you want to lighten them. Really good, and again, really reasonable prices, and Body Shop often have offers on. I can put a link below to somebody that sells Body Shop at home, a friend of mine. Otherwise you can order online, but I'll put that link below just because I like to be nice to my friend. But you don't need to order from her if you don't want to. I'm just being very transparent about that. And there's also online. So that's that. Tell me what you think of Kat Von D locket. The reason I didn't darken this up too much to my skin tone and I let it be a bit too fair is because I didn't want to add too much of the Cover FX, because then what you would be seeing would be the Cover FX. What I will do in the series a bit later on, and if people are showing interest in the Cover FX drops, I will do a separate review of Cover FX and show you how you can add them to your moisturiser or to your sunscreen to make a foundation. If you're interested in that, let me know and I'll do a separate Foundation Friday on the Cover FX drops. I hope you've enjoyed today. If I've missed anything out, bear in mind I haven't had sleep. I'm really hoping and praying tonight that I get some sleep. If I've missed anything really obvious out, or you have any burning questions, please put a comment below. And you know I love answering your questions, especially in the middle of the night when I can't sleep. And also, please will you comment? I'm thinking of doing a regular live slot, kind of Ask Ali. And I need to, if I do that, I need to kind of know that there's a lot of people going to be about. And obviously some of you are in different time zones. But if you could post when you're likely to be about or when you think would be a good time, and I'll work out the time differences and see if we can come up with a time. Also, sometimes YouTube takes a little bit of time to tell people that I'm live. So if that doesn't work, then maybe a bit further down the line, I'll try and get you all over on Instagram, and I'll do an Instagram live, putting my makeup on, and you can ask me questions. I think Instagram works a lot better when you go live, because you can see the comments coming up and they don't disappear, and there's not a delay, and it informs people that you're live, whereas I don't think YouTube necessarily always informs people. Anyway, that's me jabber jabber jabber. I hope you've enjoyed today's review, Foundation Friday. And if you've got any requests for a foundation that you want to see and I have it, let me know. I'll be making my way through all of the ones that I have. But if you want a particular one next, or you think, oh, do a light summer one next, please let me know in the description bar. Take care, have a great day, have a great weekend, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and please tell your friends. Bye-bye.